The ExoMars missions began in 2016 with the successful launch and deployment of the Trace Gas Orbiter.
This first ExoMars spacecraft is now nicely orbiting around Mars. It's fulfilling very well its scientific mission, and it has proven as well its capability to relay data from Mars assets to the Earth, and we use for that the American rovers.
This proven capability will be needed to communicate with Europe's first Mars rover, Rosalind Franklin, for the newest ExoMars mission in 2020. A landing site in an area called Oxia Planum has been recommended for this joint ESA and Russian mission, which has 4 elements.
We have a carrier module to push the spacecraft to Mars. We have a descent module to bring the landing assets, the rover for the European and the landing platform for the Russian partner, down to Mars. And we have the rover, which is the main interest of the Europeans into the mission. This rover carries 9 payload instruments that will fulfill basically the main mission to discover traces of life on the planet.
The rover, which was built at Airbus UK, is now undergoing final tests in Toulouse, France. The European carrier module and the Russian landing platform were delivered earlier this year and, together with the descent module, are undergoing final environmental tests in Cannes, France. But there are challenges ahead for the descent module. In 2016, the ExoMars entry descent and lander demonstrator module crashed. This was due to a problem with the onboard computer, ending the descent sequence prematurely. But in recent high-altitude drop tests for the ExoMars 2020 lander, the main parachutes suffered damage before fully inflating. This will require further crucial tests between January and March 2020. This go, no-go situation means it's a challenging time ahead for the mission, a race against the clock.
All the Russian and European teams are now focused at completing the verification program of the spacecraft in time for a qualification and acceptance review that is scheduled in April. If we would be successful at that review, we would be authorized to ship the spacecraft to Baikonur for a launch within a window that opens on the 26th of July and closes on the 11th of August. Missing that window would mean that we would have to adjourn the launch by more than 2 years' time, and the next launch opportunity would only reappear on August 2022. So you can imagine that we are all very mobilized to resolve the last risk which we are facing. The parachute is one, the completion of the system test program is another one, in order to get ready to catch this opportunity.
As well as the science landing platform, the Russians are providing ExoMars' ride to Mars on a Proton rocket. The next few months will determine if this ride will be in 2020 or 2 years later.